States Supreme Court in two important decisions brings us that much closer to true equality.
It's the day I finally get to look at the man that I love and finally say, will you please marry me?
They were adversaries on Bush versus Gore, and we all know how that went, but Ted Olson and David Boies teamed up to argue against Proposition 8 before the Supreme Court, and today they helped to make history. Joining me now are Ted Olson and David Boies. Gentlemen, congratulations on a very successful day, obviously, but was it as successful as you would have wished it to be?
We are tickled to death with what happened in the Supreme Court today. It is a victory for all these people in California that wish to get married to the person that they love. This is what we set out to do when we first took this case, and this is what happened today in the Supreme Court of the United States, the vindication of the rights to these individuals to be treated with dignity and respect and equality. We could not be happier.
And I think it's worth pointing out.
Are you disappointed? If I can just, let me rephrase the question. If I can just rephrase the question. Are you frustrated, though, despite this success, that what we didn't get today from the Supreme Court was a decision on a homosexual's constitutional right to get married in America?
Well, what you did get was a decision that I think lays the groundwork for decisions all across the country that will establish marriage equality in every one of the 50 states. Now, what happened in the case that we brought in California is that because the governor and the attorney general did not appeal that decision, the Supreme Court did not have jurisdiction to decide the case on the merits. But what the court did was vacate the appeal, and that brought back into effect the district court's decision. And the district court's decision does establish that broad civil right for all Americans under the Constitution to marry the person they love. And if you just hear the people around here, you'll understand how they are interpreting today's victory.
Ted Olson, I was struck by one comment today from Cardinal Timothy Dolan, who said, and I quote directly, "It's a tragic day for marriage and our nation." I mean, to me, a tragic day for America is 9/11, Pearl Harbor. It's not the day the Supreme Court says that two men or two women who love each other can get married. What is your reaction to what Cardinal Dolan said?
My reaction is the same as that, and I want to amplify what David said. 4 years ago, when we brought this case, we wanted to overturn Proposition 8, and that's what happened today. And what we're talking about is people who love one another, who want to be together, and if everybody in America could stand where David and I are standing now, and looking at the people and the happiness in their faces and their eyes that they can now be treated equally with the rest of their citizens in California, and this will spread like wildfire all over the United States. Today was an unequivocal victory for gay and lesbian individuals and for all Americans who strive for equality and dignity and the American dream. We are so happy that this came out the way it did.
And David, I mean, Justice Scalia did this very extensive, very long rant of dissent. One of the great dissents in Supreme Court history, clearly not happy at all. What was your reaction to that? Because it seems to me pretty over the top.
Well, Justice Scalia has been on the other side of this issue for 10 years. 10 years ago today, Lawrence against Texas was decided. The first major civil rights decision by the Supreme Court establishing rights for gay and lesbian couples. And Justice Scalia dissented in that case. One of the things that I think is remarkable, though, about Justice Scalia's dissent is that he's very candid in recognizing that the fight is over. He comes out on the other side, but he's very candid and honest about saying that the fight is over. That once the court has decided what it decided today, establishing marriage equality in all 50 states is just a matter of time. because it's just a matter of applying the same principles that the court articulated today to additional cases from additional states. And he even puts in his dissent a way that the court's opinion can be written, where you all have to do is substitute a particular state's name for DOMA. And I think he's recognizing, as we all recognize, that today a new day has dawned in America. We now have established full equality for gay and lesbian citizens, and we've brought ourselves closer to the ideals of our Declaration of Independence and Constitution. All we have to do now is implement it in the other 37 states. And I think these people around here are going to be willing to help.
Well, a lot of people celebrating down there, and quite rightly. Finally, Ted Olson, what does this mean in terms of the bigger picture? When will people start getting married, gay people in California, do you think, in terms of a time scale? And, you know, given what happened today with DOMA, the harsh reality remains that although they can get married in California, the same gay couple who are now entitled to the benefits that has been brought in by this decision, if they go to a state later through work necessity or whatever that doesn't recognize that, they're right back where they started. When do you see America, given the way and the speed this is moving, actually moving to what California now has in totality?
I don't know, that because it was very difficult to hear your full question. You could hear the enthusiasm here. It tends to drown out part of what you're saying. But to the extent that you're asking about a timetable, we don't know exactly when that will occur. For legal procedures take a while before the decision becomes final and it becomes effective in California. We're studying all that. We're going to deal with that the same way we've dealt with everything else in this case, carefully and deliberately. We're going to know what we're doing before we go forward. But the fact is that we're very, very soon, tens of thousands of Californians will be able to embrace the person they love and to get married. And that's going to spread like wildfire all over the United States. Starting today, it's going to go everywhere.
Well, Ted Olson and David Boies, you've obviously famously opposed each other in the past. I prefer you getting together because that seems to be very effective. So congratulations on a terrific day, and long may you continue to move forward with this in the future. Greatly appreciate it.